Next slide. Yeah. So the basic difference between path and path planning is written here. So path is just the start point and the end point which you give as a kind. Path planning will. Do you hear me now? Yeah, I'm a lot loud, sir. Yeah, there might be connection problem here, some network problem. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, I'm a lot louder here. So path is expressed as a continuous sequence of configurations that actually is the start point and the end point, which we define as a path. And path planning is how we reach from the start point to the end point. So actually, while taking care of the path planning, we should be the path planned should be feasible. That means it should not result in any collision or any motion constraints such as road or boundaries should come in between. And if you are considering the traffic rules, then it also is a part of the feasible path plan which we are making. Next slide. Dhananjay, next slide. Hello. Thank you. Yeah. So there are actually 4 ways in which the search space can be represented for planning. Search space is the path which you can take. If it is free, you will be able to take it. If it is not free, as you all know, you can't be able to take it. So there are 4 ways in doing that. So first way is the Voronoi diagram. Okay, that actually here is basically it generates a path because which are used for searching on Voronoi diagrams are complete in that sense. Like you get to know where the free space is, and if the free space exists in real, then that exists in your Voronoi diagram as well. It is when you are planning beforehand, and there are paths in static mode. Okay, and the second B and C represent the same thing called the grid. It is a grid map. So each one of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. So after explaining all these 4 models, I'll tell you how it is to be used for our model. So okay, occupancy grid works in the similar way as the Voronoi diagram, but the cost proportion and the feasible risk is very traversal. So you make rectangular or triangular boxes there, and then you try traversing your object onto that. So if there is probability also given to each box or each rectangle which you make. So each box is given some probability that there is an object there in that position. There is some object or there might be some obstacle. So you get to know with what probability that very particular box has an obstacle. So the third one, which is represented as the is called the state lattice type of representation. So it is also done in the same way, but except for the type of discreteness you give it. So instead of giving box, there are lattice circles. So in those directions, you'll be able to search where the object or the obstacle is and then carry it forward. The fourth one is called the driving corridor, which is one thing, which is hello. Can you all hear me? Because, driving corridors represent a continuous collision-free space. So if you're bounded by a road and a lane boundary as well as other obstacles, then it creates a straight path, and then a lane boundary is given, and then the path is dealt with it. So yeah, each one of it has its own advantages and disadvantages, as you can see on the right side. So actually, you can't use one single search representation for what we are trying to do. So if only single parking is taken, you are supposed to use Voronoi diagram and create cost maps. So which is very complex altogether. So if an object is moving, so you will have to use multiple of all these 4 representations at different point in time. Then on the next slide. Okay, so next here we can see the overview of architecture of how it is to be done. So there are actually 3 steps in doing all of this. So first one is we physically find the best geometric path for the vehicle to follow, and then finding that involves 2 parts. So you just find, or you first find the first sequence of actions through incremental sampling or discrete geometric structures. And there are two things actually. So one is incremental, another one is localized search. So second one will be the localized search. And once you find that, you find the best maneuver to perform. That is, out of so many parts, of so many paths you've got, you need to find the best fit and finding the best trajectory to follow through the optimization of geometric curve according to the constraints. That is the third part. Next, next slide. Okay. So here we can there are three scenarios explained in this slide. So I'll connect it to the slide number 3, which we just saw, which was for search space representations for planning. So in the diagram A, which you all can see, there are waypoints. Dhananjay, go back. Okay, yeah. So there are waypoints which are marked priorly for the path to be followed. So if there is any obstacle in between, like you can see the red car there, then the waypoint changes and the route is supposed to be taken away. So you will miss that one particular waypoint and then go. In the diagram B, if you're supposed to take a turn and if there are multiple cars coming, then should you overtake it or not to the next waypoint will be the constraint. And in the third one, you have multiple number of trajectories possible, so you need to calculate the best fit and then take the best fit to go till there after considering your waypoints and your maneuver. So single search space representation is not possible. Like, you can't use one single thing at once, so you'll have to mix and match multiple things and then decide at what point in time you will want which kind of a representation for space, searching the space which is free around your car or whatever. Okay, so next Dhananjay will continue with the path planning algorithms.
Hello. Hi, sir. Am I audible? Yeah. So I'll take it from here. So now that Rohan shared everything, map setup has been done. How the car will move, in what scenario it will move. Will it overtake the car in front of it or not, and all those cases. Now the thing comes the path planning. How and where it should take turn or not, like how it is supposed to reach the destination. So as we have studied in like data structures and all, I think I shared this in my previous presentation as well, so I'll make it real quick. So first algorithm is Dijkstra's algorithm. So this is the most known and the typical one. So if you see the diagram, this pink one here, so you zero, let's assume zero is the starting point, and let's say 4 is the ending point. So what Dijkstra algorithm is designed to do is it will explore all the connected vertices, and it will go on doing that based on some priority queue data structure unless it reaches the 4 that is the ending point. So in I won't go into the detailed working. I'll just mention one limitation of it, which is fairly visible, that it has to explore all the nodes 1 2 3 8 7 6 5. So it will definitely take more time. Even if one is none of our business, it will still try to explore it, and obviously it will take more time and space in the memory. So to overcome this thing, we come up with A star algorithm, which is like more efficient and much faster than Dijkstra's algorithm. One addition to A star is that we actually, if you can see, S is the starting point and G is the end. So if you can see on each node, correspondingly their distance from the destination node is mentioned. So as 17, so 17, let's say 17 units is the distance from G to S. So C4, 4 is the distance from G to C. So like that. So like Dijkstra's algorithm will take the weights of the edges, but also will consider the distances as well. So in this case, what happens? will just explore the ones, the node which are useful to us, and not the ones we are not meant to explore, which are of no use, which will never come in our path while traveling from S to G. So I'll just show this small diagram here. So if you see on the right, sorry, on the left is the Dijkstra's approach. So red is the starting point. If you can see my cursor, red is the starting point, and this green is the ending point, and this is a major obstacle. Since these nodes are of no use, only we are traveling finally through this route. So these nodes are of no use, but we are still exploring them in Dijkstra's algorithm. On the right side, you see this is the A star approach. It will only explore the nodes which are nearer to the destination, overcoming the obstacle, not exploring entirely, ignoring the nodes which are of no use to us. So this is A star, and obviously it's much faster. So now we jump on to D star algorithm. Now D star has different approaches like focused D star light. So D star light is, I think, much known. Basically, it is nothing but a juncture of Dijkstra's and A star. So what happens in A star is it takes into account the distance and the weights, but it only takes the result into the computation, and relegates all the calculation behind it. But D star keeps the calculation as well. So if you can see in the diagram on the this diagram graph on the left side, if you can see, if there is push pop, since in queues we have push pop operations, we have remove operations in case we are relegating the node entirely, and these the and then the total number of operations. So basically what this graph is telling, blue is showing time taken by A star, and yellow or brown, whatever, orange is showing time taken by the D star. You can see there is a massive difference between A star and D star, and then for obvious reasons, if we are using these, one of these, D star should be the one. So, and recently the most recent approach for the path planning in particular, RRT algorithm has been around for a while. So it is basically random approach of making some trees in a free space. I'll skip this slide and come here. So basically, what it does, path planning using RRT or RRT star is only one of the way of the sample based path planning. So this is a sample based path planning, meaning we take a sample in a free space or like XY plane, and then we treat it as a parent node of the tree, and then we explore it by increasing its child nodes. So to explain it quickly, I'll just take it to this website, this link. Yeah. So here in this box, if you can see, red is the starting point and green is the ending point, and these two cubes, two squares, are the obstacles. So what it will do is, it will just randomly, it will start generating tree from here, let's say. So it will start generating the tree. When a point in the space is randomly sampled, it is checked that if the point collides with the obstacle in the space or not. If it is colliding, it will go back, and it will, if it is colliding, it will just not increase the tree from that particular node. It will increase from some other. So like that. So these three are the different iterations, and finally, when it encounters no obstacle from it, it will just create this final path from the starting point to the end point. So that is how. So it might take. See, it might take 1, 2, 3, up to 1,000, 10,000, maybe millions of iterations. So like this, if you can see in this GIF file, it is taking around 1,000 or something. So yeah, that's it for RRT. So, and RRT, a T star is nothing but a sibling of RRT perhaps, and it is more organized because if you can see this image and this image, this is RRT and this is RRT star. This is more organized because it takes the shortest distance from the child node possible, and does not just randomly take samples around. So whenever we use T star, RRT, we use RRT star. So that's it. And if anyone has any